Wanting a bamboo house is one thing, and getting one designed and built in the right way with the appropriate bamboo is another story. I say this not just as an architect advocating bamboo, but also as a bamboo house owner and constant user. When one is enthralled by bamboo and really wants a bamboo house, what are the critical factors to consider? And what is there to expect during the process? And also, what is there to know in advance about living in one? Welcome to a new video from Construction Technique. In this video, we are going to talk about how to build the most beautiful modern 2-story bamboo house in one day. But before we make it to the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Prior to jumping into the design of a house, here's what I would use as a basic starter checklist in order of priority, backed with some relevant and abridged notes. We will dividing the needs into checklists. Here we go for the first one. Keep these points in mind. Is there bamboo growing in the region? Can the bamboo be harvested and treated? If not, would you consider shipping processed bamboo from elsewhere? Who will design it? The designer must be experienced and proven in bamboo design to ensure a quality, workable outcome. Who will construct it? Needs to be experienced and proven in bamboo artistry and construction to ensure a quality outcome. Who will maintain it? This is critical as the house ages and insufficient or improper maintenance will lead to a reduced lifespan of the bamboo and the house. Once you have cleared these and you are not still phased, we go on to the house design itself. Now the second checklist. Site selection needs to be done with the utmost care and where possible involve the designer and the builder. Avoid sunken valleys with no breeze or sites that are in the wind shadow and receive little sunlight. Avoid damp and dark areas and look for the more open and breezy sites. Outdoor living is prioritized, so the views out and in and of course privacy is important. Trees are good on site, but find a site that has some open areas to build on to avoid having to cut trees or to build the house too close to one. The need for cross-ventilation and airiness, this is paramount in an open living and tropical environment. Fans can move damp air around, but your comfort level and health will be much better where light breezes can bring in fresh air. The need for sunlight and daylight, a couple of hours of sunlight with good daylight provision throughout the day, is essential to avoid stuffy and damp conditions. Security and privacy in a bamboo house. My house has a totally open living area. The only secure area is the bedroom, which is upstairs. Secure rooms can be created with bamboo walls and screens for the bedrooms and study. Storerooms and wardrobes may be designed as dry rooms with more ventilation or by incorporating a dehumidifier. The need to keep out pests and vermin. The area around the ground floor should be left open and clear of vegetation or any debris. The floor should be elevated or stepped up. Bamboo and wet do not mix. Bathrooms and toilets should, where possible, be on ground level and not necessarily walls and floors in constant contact with water will have to be built as non-bamboo. Bathrooms that are partially open to the air are practical, light, and airy. Wet and dry season. Most roofs are seldom designed with enough overhangs to counter the horizontal rain during the wet season. Ensure that your house design has super generous overhangs, verandas, and air wells to serve as buffers to the wind-driven rain. Be prepared to retrofit with bamboo blinds, rain screens where necessary during the wet season. For the hot, dry season, cooling may be necessary in some regions. If ceiling fans are not effective, design a smaller area to be closed in and air-conditioned, for example, just the bed, and using a denser mosquito netting to make an air-conditioned tent. Cleaning and maintenance. Avoid using harsh and abrasive cleaners on bamboo. Very light soapy water is good enough for regular cleaning with a cloth or mop. More effort is required to clean off spiderwebs and lizard droppings, if you ask me. Bamboo roofs and walls need to be checked, especially in areas under or near trees. Clear off fallen leaves and debris. Recoat bamboo which has been affected by rain or sun. There is a lot more that can be said about designing, building, and living in a bamboo house for sure. Perhaps another article on this in the future. If you still want a bamboo house and cannot bear full-time open living with all its nasties, it will be good then to consider having a house made out of bamboo but combined with other friendly materials, hopefully recycled or repurposed, that you are more comfortable with. By the way, there is nothing wrong with a half bamboo house blended with other materials. It just has to be done right by ensuring that the bamboo is applied and combined with other materials in the way that uses bamboo to its best potential. Bamboo is not steel or timber and therefore should not be forced to become so. It will show badly, unfortunately. The power to pull out the wow in bamboo house design, that lies with you, the bamboo, the conceiver, the builder, and the artisans. Now to start off on the house building process, we need bamboo. It was either cut down nearby or transported by truck. Because our sites weren't near any large roads, bamboo was unloaded from trucks and tied to bicycles and wagons as they made their final approach to the site. Bamboo was stockpiled nearby. Then we started to measure and cut the bamboo stems, or culms, based on the length, width, and height of the houses. We created separate piles of bamboo for the long walls, the short walls, and the vertical battens. The next step was splitting the bamboo down the length of each stem into individual strips. To do this, a large notch was cut in the end of the bamboo stem. Once you have it split a little, you can lay it on the ground and use your hands and feet to help split it the rest of the way. Then you do it again about 4 to 5 times, using the same stem until you have flat strips. After splitting the bamboo, we then had to clean the individual strips. This meant we had to shave down the strips lengthwise to remove the residual vascular bundles scattered up and down the bamboo. The bamboo strips need to be smooth and flat so that they can more easily be woven together without getting caught on each other. Removing the wooden bundles helps. It also causes a lot of blisters. We spent the majority of the first week cutting, splitting, and cleaning bamboo. Tools were primitive and consisted of hand saws, chisels, knives, and a crowbar. Then we started the first course of weaving. Starting at one side, we slid 2 bamboo strips up and over one batten and down and under the next, until the ends of the strips reached the last batten. Then we started the next set of strips, but instead of going over the first batten, we slid these strips under the batten and over the next, alternating patterns of the previous strips. This alternating up and over and down and under sequence is what created the woven pattern. We continued this process all the way up the wall. To keep each course tight against the last, we would occasionally hit the top course with a handmade tool the locals built out of a bamboo stem. Installing the walls was actually a very easy process. Stand it upright in place, and someone would go around and tie the wall to the columns at various heights with wire. After the walls were up, we were taught how to mix plaster for the walls and floor. The plaster mixture consisted of mud, hay, water, and cow dung. Yup, cow dung. Start mixing the rest of the materials together to get a thick plaster mud consistency. Whether by hands or feet, mixing the plaster was actually quite fun. As mixing continued, we started applying plaster to the walls by hand. Because the mixture was so thick, you literally could throw a handful of plaster at the wall and it would stick. So our process involving throwing handfuls of mud at the wall. Now your first story has been completed, and for the second story, you should keep in mind a very important thing. That is, how strong your first story is, because the first story is the foundation for the second one. So keep in mind, make sure that the floor of the first story is firm, and all the walls are buried properly under the ground. Now repeat the process, make the bamboo walls, but this time, you have to tie those walls from the ending point of wall of first story. Like this, your first frame is ready. Now attach the roof and plaster it. Here is your 2-story bamboo building ready. Now celebrate it and enjoy your new home. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. More interesting videos are coming, and if you don't want to miss any of our videos, then smash the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you will always be updated.